Owning a motorcycle is not simply about owning wheels for commuting, but rather about passion. It is an extension of your personality. It is a statement. People therefore want to customize their bikes to suit their unique personalities. But before a person can settle in on a design for their stock motorcycle, they have to navigate through a plethora of jargons. It honestly can be a bit overwhelming for people who are new to the customization scene. In today's video, we will attempt to have a look at the most famous types of modified motorcycles. Keep watching this video for a brief explanation on what is meant by a Scrambler, Café Racer, Bobber, Brat style bike, Street Tracker and Chopper. You are watching SOFE 2. Before we begin this video, let me clarify that the features for the various customized motorcycles have evolved over time. There are no hard and fast definitions, and different people are likely to give you differing or contrary views on certain aspects of these motorcycles. Here are some commonly accepted features of the various bikes. Scrambler motorcycles are very much in vogue these days and are enjoying a great resurgence of interest. The term Scrambler has been in common use in the United States since the 1950s and 60s to describe a bike with an off-road potential. However, the word actually has its roots much further back in 1920s when British riders raced across a mix of terrains. Scramblers are essentially street bikes with the ability to go off-road, and almost all aspects of their design serve a certain purpose. Some of the distinguishing features of scramblers are higher exhaust pipes. The higher clearance prevents them from getting damaged by the rough terrain. Upgraded suspension to cope with off-road conditions. Knobbly dual-purpose tires to provide better grip off-road. Scramblers usually have spoked wheels with aluminum rims. Spoke wheels aren't as stiff as alloys. The flexibility makes them better suited for off-road use. They don't break easily, and even if a spoke or two goes bust, the rider has the option to carry on for some distance and even get the spokes repaired. It has wide handlebars for better control. The instrument console, tanks and headlamps are small. The overall bike has a stripped down look to keep the weight down. The seats are often smaller and thicker. Many scramblers have a flat bench seat. The body of the bike follows an overall horizontal line and has a higher than average height. The term Café Racer evolved in 1960s London, where motorcycle enthusiasts, many of whom teenagers, gathered together at popular cafes such as Ace Cafe and Busy Bee Cafe and raced against each other. Often the aim of these races was to reach the ton or the 100 miles per hour mark. Café racers are built for speed, easy handling and quick rides over short distances. They are not particularly built for comfort. They have powerful engines, but their body weight is kept low. One of the most prominent features of the Café Racer is the signature cowl at the rear end of the seat, also called as a bump stopper. Its function is precisely that. It prevents the rider from slipping backwards during hard acceleration. Café racers usually have drooping or low-mounted handlebars. Often clip-on handlebars are used. The tank is elongated and has signature knee indents. The foot pegs are rear set. The rear set foot pegs and low handlebars give the rider a crouched position, almost sticking to the body of the motorcycle. This reduces wind resistance and improves control. Café racers have a minimalistic design language, and the body of the motorcycle overall follows a horizontal line. Many café racers sport half or full race fairings. One of the most distinctive trends and fashions in recent years has been the rise of the bobber. Main characteristics which separate bobbers from the other bikes are the excess accessories and parts of the motorcycle are given up, such as no fairings or luggage racks. It has basic instrumentation and headlamps. The idea is to remove any part that is not necessary for the bike, thus giving the bike a vintage minimalistic look. It has a powerful engine. The front fender is often taken off. The rear fender is either removed or chopped. The shortening or bobbing of the fenders and other excess parts of the motorcycle gives the bike its name, bobber. Bobbers usually have just one seat, which is placed at a lower elevation compared to the handlebars. The single saddle with spring suspension is mounted on the bike. This is done to compensate for the hardtail suspension. as many modifiers prefer to take off the rear suspension. Many believe that a bobber should have only a single seat. You can watch my video about Java Perak pillion seat. There is a detailed discussion about whether or not bobbers should have a pillion seat. Bobbers have thick wheels. The front wheel is slimmer but larger in diameter than the rear wheel. In some cases, the frame is also modified, resulting in a shorter machine with an emphatic diagonal from the steering head to the rear axle. The term Brat or Brat style has its origins in one specific modification shop called Brat Style in Tokyo, Japan, run by Go Takamine. Takamine's shop was very well known for its distinctive designs that stood in stark contrast to the American style of bike modifications. His designs soon became famous and were copied all around the world. In fact, Brat Style today is a generic name like Bisleri, Xerox or Cadbury for motorcycles inspired by his style. Brat motorcycles, though distinct, yet have hints of Tracker, Café Racer and Scrambler within the mix. A Brat style motorcycle runs with either the bike's own stock tank or a slightly smaller aftermarket or a vintage one that goes with the minimalistic lines of this style. Seats are generally flat or bench type with the possibility of taking a passenger. Occasionally, Brats also have solo seats, but spring saddles are never used on this bike. You can have any type of handlebars, from mini apes to motocross bars, but clip-on handlebars are never used like the way they're used on Café Racers. Fenders are bobbed or given up entirely. The engines are usually painted black. In general, chrome is avoided. Brats usually keep the stock suspension of the original motorcycle. The rear suspensions at times can be changed for an aftermarket option. Brats never have a hardtail suspension. There is very little alteration made to the frame of the bike. Street trackers are street legal forms of flat track racing bikes. Flat trackers or flat track racing bikes are essentially built to race on oval clay or dirt tracks. They don't have many features that street bikes have, such as front brakes, lights, horns, etc. Street trackers, though are stylistically influenced by the flat trackers, are more practical in nature. They have road legal features such as the front brakes, rear view mirrors, horns, etc. and are meant for riding both on road as well as off road. A street tracker can be identified by its small, long, elongated shaped fuel tank. Motocross or superbike handlebars are used on these bikes. They have a higher than average seat height. The bike has a tall tail section with a long solo seat curving up towards the rear. Most of the street trackers do not have the front fender. The rear fender is chopped off and is an extension of the seat. This gives the street trackers their iconic look. The tires are knobbly or have groovy surface. Usually the tires with a diameter of 19 or 18 inches are used. The front and the rear tires are of similar diameter. The foot pegs and controls are either mid-set or rear set. The headlamps are usually small and embedded in a numbered faceplate. Upgraded suspensions and brakes are common to help the bikes both to look and feel more like the race bikes from which they draw their inspiration. A chopper is a type of custom motorcycle which emerged in the United States in the mid-1960s. The chopper is perhaps the most extreme of all custom styles. It involves heavy modification and chopping of the chassis of the original motorcycle. Choppers have long extended front forks which are at an angle of 45 degrees to the motorcycle. Extended ape hanger handlebars are used on choppers. The motorcycle has an overall stretched frame and the front wheels have a larger diameter as compared to the rear wheels. A fat tire is used on the rear of the motorcycle. Choppers have small fuel tanks with stylish and colorful paint jobs. Most of the metal parts on the motorcycle have a chrome finish. They are powered by a powerful V-twin engine. The seat is at a low and comfortable position. The foot pegs and foot controls in a chopper are front set, thus giving the rider a relaxed riding position. choppers are very comfortable for long rides. Rear suspensions are often taken off, thus choppers too have a hard tail. Many choppers have signature sissy bars installed on them. The overall chassis and body of the bike follows a diagonal line, which is higher in the front and lower at the rear end. In the end, I would like to add that these motorcycle types are generalized styles and the modifiers are free to make their own choices and use a combination of different styles. Just follow your heart and don't let the internet trolls tell you what your bike should or shouldn't have. What I presented today is definitely not an exhaustive list. There are many other customization options which are equally good if not as popular. Is there any other type of motorcycle that you would have loved to see on this list? Which is your favorite style of customized bikes? Do let us know in the comments section below. I will meet you again next time with more interesting tidbits on the world of motorcycles. Until then, keep riding and peace out.